young man, I was interested in history, and specifically Civil War history. So if any of Civil War buffs here, you probably are familiar with this story. So I was talking with my maternal grandma, who was Hilda Matilda Augusta Worth Schultz. And she lived on Pekin Hill, or Lower Mountain Road, down Pekin Hill, in the Worth family. And she went to school at St. Andrews, I think it was the school, and the church St. Andrews. But we'd be talking, and she'd say, and she knew my interest in the Civil War, she'd say, you know, we had a relative, I don't know how he was connected, but if there was a family outing or picnic, he'd come and he'd be hobbling around. He always had a bad leg. And I said, well, why? She said, I think it was a war injury from the Civil War. I said, really? So I said, what's his name? No, she couldn't give it, couldn't remember. Finally, it came out, William Praker, P-R-A-K-E-R. So back then, without the internet and anything, you had to write to the National Archives. So I wrote to the National Archives, and they had a form you filled out, and son of a gun, I got a return. These papers are from, I don't know when, but when I was still a young man. And so this is his muster-in rolls. He mustered in Pekin. Lockport, the 29th of July, 1862. And he registered into the 129th Regiment, New York Infantry. And if you studied any of the Civil War guys from around here, they were all pretty much in that. And a lot of the companies were filled up with like German guys that would go to Lockport and muster in. But a lot of them were related or knew of families. And then it goes along for like 7 months, and then the next thing you know is it turns into the 8th New York, Company D, 8th Regiment New York Heavy Artillery. And they just basically kept the same guys, but they changed it from an infantry regiment to an artillery regiment. And I won't go through all the details of what the regiment did. Basically, they didn't do much for a long time, until 1864.
Where were they stationed?
Around here, and then they ended up going to Washington, D.C., and they guarded a prison camp down there. And it was pretty light duty until the final push on Richmond, and